recording. Here, okay, we're going into the something estate. Hodge estate.
Okay, dokie.
Oh, I don't have any quest to go here, but I can get in, so might as well.
Aye, it's done.
It's the last couple of places I can explore. Yeah, the Hodge estate and the Rum Bottom estate, and that old lady's house. I don't know if there's any benefit in going to that old lady's house. Ooh, that's a big trap.
Aye, it's
Oh, nice.
done.
Good job, Tommy. Whoa! Go to that one. Oh, is he doing it? He's doing it on his own. Ooh, I've never seen him do that before. I think my spot is awful though, so I'm just going to wander straight into traps all the time. I'll just save since this seems to be trap-tastic.
Okay, dokie.
Loot some stuff. I seem to remember from when I last played years and years
Aye,
ago.
it's done.
Oh, that's all right. Midnights. He said he'd been working. I've been talking about all sorts of nonsense. Go on. Oops.
Aye, it's done.
You did not disarm that trap. You set the trap off. Go and set that trap off. I mean, disarm it. I want to see. He did it on his own a minute ago. I want to see if he'll do it on his own again. Oh, he's doing it. Oh,
Aye, it's
what
done.
a chap. There's a noble guard. They're pretty weak, these guys. Yes, I've been talking about films and politics and stuff while you've been working. I had a few more viewers. It's weird. The first half of the stream there was nobody looked at all, which is good because I had an emergency call from my cousin. And then now there's been a few people. Lots of frostbite. Potion.
Okay, dokie.
Oh yeah, I've still got to go back and do that tomb, but I can come back afterwards. Go and open that up. Oh, I don't actually need to rest. Tommy does, but
Aye,
not
it's done.
really. Yeah, I have no idea why I'm bothering going in here, but I can, so that's why I'm going in. There's no. I've not got any quests to go into this estate at all, so I'm not sure what the purpose of it is, aside from just breaking and entering. Let's talk to the cook.
Good day.
Call us for the master, don't arrive like this. Your finery is betrayed. Are you a bandit?
Aye, it's done.
I'm no concern of yours. Walk away. Shut your mouth and be quiet or I'll kill you. Relax, I won't hurt you. Relax, I won't hurt you. Save your words. You'll get nothing from me. If you're looking for the Master Hodge, she's already gone. You'd think the bugger knew something was coming. He's taken his master keys with him. I couldn't help you if I wanted, which I don't. I don't get involved in the affairs of Master Hodge. I don't need the grief. If you share a relationship with him, I don't know which of you is worse off. Now get! My muffins are burning. I'll burn your muffins. Yeah, it's free XP. Well, not free. I pay for it with the blood of my enemies.
Honor and glory! Have at me!
But I think every other building's had a quest to go there of some sort. So it's quite strange. Like the ones with markers on, I think they've all had missions to go to. Maybe I missed speaking to somebody or something, or maybe I've got a mission and I just don't, just not remembering it. The Ruins of Illusk and the Neverwinter Wood. I think I've read both of those already. Oh, maybe not the Neverwinter Wood. But I'm pretty sure I read the Ruins of Illusk. Let's have a look. Ruins of Illusk. Examine. Remnants of the ancient city of Illusk stand on the southern shore of Mirar and in the lee of the close-guard island. All that remains of a once proud city and a few shattered towers and toppled statues choked with creepers and thick bush. Yes, they're Luskin's big. Yeah, I've definitely read that. And Neverwinter Wood. This hefty tome attempts a complete history of the Neverwinter Wood, but the crux of it is what is known is summed up in the following passage. While many a tale has suggested that there are dark forces that call the wood their home, there is yet no definite answer as to what truly lies within. Many a glade has a guardian force watching over it, but never one so malevolent as is supposedly in residence there. These woods have never been logged by men, for they are feared and shunned by locals, and even orc hordes alter their course around and never through. They're usually only after suffering, though only after suffering a goodly number of stubborn casualties. Well, there we go. Is there anything else? Let's loot this. Looking for anything else I can get Tommy unlocking while I'm looting. Oh, there's something over here. I'm terrified that there's going to be a trap on one of these that's going to instant kill me again. I suppose playing a barbarian or something is probably good so that you have just ridiculous amounts of health. Because I think barbarians just go for... Oh no, you probably need dex as well. I don't know who just dumps everything into con.
Eh? What can Tommy do?
I think in Pathfinder there's a type of oracle that casts with Constitution instead of Charisma, which means that you can have Constitution as your dump stat, which is insane. But then you're an oracle, and I think oracles wear cloth armor, so you have a terrible AC. It's like a druids in 5th edition have awful armor class, so they get hit all the time. But you've got a huge HP pool because you have your shapeshift forms. And your shapeshift forms, none of it carries over onto your own HP. Ouch. I got triggered and trapped, and I'm paralyzed, and I can't rest. How long does it last for? Oh, there we go. That's how long it lasts for. Save. Next. Yeah. That's why I saved. Oh, I had a GM that was that said that he died instantly to a trapped chest in a D&D game, and I was thinking, what the hell kind of GM puts a trap that can instant kill one of their players? Let's kill Tommy with this trap. Handle trap.
No can do.
What? I said handle the trap.
No can do.
I don't know how I'm going to open that then. God, so many traps. Aside from just dying, but I'm not sure that whatever's in that room is worth the amount of XP that I'm going to gain for going in. But yeah, in a computer game, having something that you can die instantly to is one thing. I mean, I think that's pretty lame as well, having a trap that you can instantly die to. But having it in an actual tabletop game is insane. Saying that, I did total party kill my Pathfinder group when I was running a Pathfinder game 2 weeks in a row. But that's because I was fudging the results. I was fudging the results of the rolls up until level 7, and I figured, right, okay, you guys can probably sink or swim now, and so I stopped fudging the rolls, and they just got murdered. There's also I was doing Reign of Winter, which is one of the book adventures for Pathfinder, and well, let's rest. And there's a fight in it where there's like a demon corrupted nymph, and nymphs have an ability where if you're looking at them and they decide, then you have to make a save or get blinded. And I checked online to see if it happens, if it's like once per day or something like that. But no, it's every single round that you look at them, you've got to save or you're blinded. So the whole party ended up blinded, and at that point she's just sneak attacking. Oh well, there we go. Half damage. I guess I made my saving throw. Let's rest again. Am I encumbered or something? Skill decreased. Movement speed increased. I seem to. Oh, I might have changed the camera mode. I was wondering why I was walking. Oh no, yeah, I'm running when with this camera mode, it walks most of the time, and then if you click on something to interact with, then it runs. And then the week after that they'd fought that nymph, they all made new characters and went back into the dungeon, but they went through a different entrance, and there was a group of shadows that were hiding inside the walls because they're ethereal, so they can move through walls. And the book just said they hide in the walls and they come out and attack once the players are inside. So they came out and attacked. My players just went, okay, this is our standard attack, we'll use that, and they got strength drained into the floor in the first round of combat. I think one of them went down, and then at that point it was like dominoes, they all just went down. And then I quit playing Pathfinder. But Pathfinder is a terrible game anyway. There's so many player abilities like polymorph, or was it dire polymorph, where you've got your grand evil wizard that's the person they've been questing against for 3 years, you know, the Grand Overlord, and then one of the players casts dire polymorph. There's a 50-50 chance that your big boss guy that has been the one they've been fighting against the whole time instantly dies. It's the same with, there's a witch hex, sleep hex, where they save or they fall asleep, and obviously if they fall asleep they're dead. So you can't really have fights against one big bad guy. It has to be against groups of enemies, or whenever it is against a big bad guy, chances are your players are just going to instantly kill them. And likewise, things like that nymph, if the players fail their save, then they're going to instantly die. Every time I watch somebody play Neverwinter Nights, they're running around inside. Don't you ever get outside in this game? And the most weird thing... Yeah, it's because I'm a paladin. But it makes you move faster. You get outside, but not really in the first act. The first act's about curing a plague in the city. So you're wandering around inside Neverwinter. There are outside sections, but all the missions are indoors. The second part's in the forest. The second act is in the forest. So you're outside for the whole of the second act, basically. So, I think it starts in an inn, and then you go out into a forest. But yeah, most of the first part's inside. I imagine doing, with this level of graphics, doing convincing insides is much easier than doing convincing outsides. Like, inside you can do all sort of angular shapes and things like that, but you can't really have angular trees. Let's save. Where am I? I've been talking too much and not paying attention to what I'm doing. This building is so annoying. Will you stop trapping every single door in your own house, you crazy madman? I'm paralyzed, so I can't move. Okay, good to know. Thinking about playing it. It's good. I don't know, it's quite fun. It's very dated, so some of the control systems feel wonky. Compared to, like, just little things like quick save is F5 in every modern game, but in this it's on G, and rest is on R, which is normally like an action key or something in other games. And then the camera stuff is weird. You can either have it on a camera where you click and it automatically rotates, but it doesn't run when you do that, or you can have it so the camera always stays in the same way. You have to manually turn the camera around. So, I mean, but once you can get over that or get used to it, it's actually quite fun. It's just there's some, and also even on easy, so if you trigger a trap, it'll sometimes instantly kill you. So you have to save before you open doors and things like that, because, or you just quick save a lot, because sometimes you'll just randomly die unless you play a rogue. In which case you're less likely to randomly die. And this guy, Tommy Undergallows, is, if you're not a rogue, is the best companion by far, because he does decent damage, and also he will, if you spot a trap, he will disarm it if he's high enough level, and if you, again, he'll lockpick even when you can't lockpick. And he does sneak attacks and things like that, which do big damage. I played with this. There's a henchman who's a sorcerer for a while, and she, body knock. It's another trap, and I'm paralyzed again. Has the lowest HP of the group, and then he keeps on getting caught on corners and rooms, and like casting spells, but it can't actually hit anything because it's not got line of sight. So when I swapped to Tommy, the game became massively easier. But if you're playing some sort of wizard or sorcerer or something like that, you probably want to go with Dalen Shadow Tiger, Dalen something Tiger, who's a Uthgardt barbarian, because he'll charge forward and you can stand back and cast spells. As long as you're not playing on hard, I think your spells don't hurt your people in your own party, which I assume means your henchmen, and not just like if you're playing online multiplayer. Oh, nice. Thanks for disarming that trap. Yeah, the only annoying thing is that everything's locked here, so I'm constantly waiting for him to unlock. Every time I click something, I have to wait for him to unlock it. You done it? Good. Go on, open the cabinet. There we go. Save. Next. It's another trap. It's weird because sometimes the trap sometimes the trap does a completely insignificant amount of damage. That did like 5% of my health, and sometimes it does 100% of your health. Can you take that trap on? Yes, you can. Sometimes you sell him to handle trap and he explodes. But better he explodes.
Okay,
if he explodes, I pay 50 gold to go back to town and resurrect him for free and teleport back to where I was. If I die, I pay 50 XP per level and 10% of your total gold. And my total gold is 17,000. So I'm like 1,700. So it's a little bit cheaper for him to die than it is for me to die.
It's done.
The Stone of Recall is really useful in boss fights and things like that when things are going poorly, because you can teleport out for 50. Well, you teleport back for 50 gold. You can teleport out, heal up, put on some new buffs, get your henchmen resurrected, or like summon more allies if you're playing somebody that summons stuff, and then teleport back in the middle of the fight, and they've still taken the same amount of damage. But it's not. It's not very immersive. It's not very immersive gameplay playing it like that. I think that's this Hodge estate completely emptied. I'm not sure that there was any reason for me to go in here. But on to the Rumbottom estate. Hopefully it has less traps, fewer traps. I get in trouble for saying less instead of fewer. My brother and my mum are utterly anal about the difference between less and fewer. Which means I ended up being a bit anal about it. But I still make it the mistake all the time, saying less instead of fewer. Never say fewer instead of less, because that makes absolutely no sense. There's fewer water in this glass than there was a moment ago. I don't know what's happened. Oh, have I not been in there? No, I have been in there. I'm sure must have done. Okay, rum bottom. Come on, Tommy. Get your lockpick on. Good boy. Treat him halfling like a dog. His story is really funny as well. He worked for a Medusa and he was sent to rob somebody and murder them, and then fell in love with their daughter. Well, he seduced their daughter and was sleeping around with her. Then the Medusa found out that he hadn't killed the target, and the Medusa and the target for his assassination, who's like a mage, ended up killing each other, and he ended up running through the town naked and stuff like that. It's quite fun. Yeah, I think Pillars of Eternity, I saw a trailer for that and it looked very much like this. But Pillars of Eternity will be this, but with 10 to 15 years more technology and iteratively making games better. This is like the difference between playing Diablo 1 and Diablo 3 or Path of Exile. It's a bit like Pillars of Eternity and Baldur's Gate. It just looks like you have the same freedom. Yeah, you have. I don't know if you have that much freedom, because it's still. I mean, you can wander around and you can do all sorts of different ways of doing things, but there's still a very specific quest chain to follow. So, but I imagine it's the same in Pillars of Eternity you see in Baldur's Gate. I never played Baldur's Gate. I played this, and I played Eye of the Beholder, which is an ancient game on that was on the Amiga. I don't know if it was on. It was probably on the Atari as well, Atari ST. But yeah, I like in a modern game, your follower won't get stuck behind walls and things like that. The AI is better, but it's like watching an old film. If you watch old films, the graphics is not the graphics. The effects are a bit dated, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch old films. It's just a bit more annoying in games.
It's done.
Although some old films have pretty shocking effects. It's amazing how much some effects haven't dated. Like the original Star Wars still looks pretty good. The black hole as well, that still looks pretty reasonable. I suppose it's like if you use practical effects, they don't really date. Whereas computer graphics do. Like if you watch The Last Starfighter now, it looks absolute garbage. Because it's computer generated.
It's done.
Like I imagine Rogue One is going to look absolutely terrible in a few years because of the CGI zombies. Because they just don't. Was it Grand Moff Tarkin and was it Princess Leia and that just don't look human? There's an uncanny valley going on that they don't look like real people. even though they've done, it's incredible how they do it. Like they have another actor and then map their face onto it. But yeah, it still doesn't look human. I also think it's kind of morally dubious, even though they signed, Peter Cushing signed the rights to be in Star Wars and signed the rights of his likeness away. Having an actor perform a role after they're dead, like 20 years after he dies, is really morally questionable. Even though there's I suppose there's union-wise it's okay because there is an actor there performing the role. Yeah, like using your face to tell a story years after you're dead. What? That's. I mean, there's nothing bad about Rogue One, but it's saying something really dubious. It's like a really dubious precedent for putting words in somebody's mouth after they die. The second Neverwinter Nights game really looks great for its time. I've never played the second. Neverwinter Nights 2 has. That's only a couple of years old as well. Neverwinter Nights 2. I think it might be 5 years old or something like that. But oh, Tommy's almost dead. Let's go back to town and sell some stuff. It's got horrible reviews, Neverwinter Nights 2. I couldn't rest there because there was enemies in the next room. So I thought I'd come back to town, rest up, and I might as well clear up some bag space while I'm here. I've got a bag of holding, but it doesn't seem to be slowing down how often I have to go back.
We are all eagerly awaiting.
Temple services. Wisdom necklace. Sell that. Bolts of frostbite. Sell those. Amethyst. No, don't need that. Sell a scroll. Sell a healer's kit. Alexandrite. Bullets. Go there. That unidentified cloak. Let's see what it does. I think I know what it does. Hide. Yeah, so now Cloak of Elvenkind. Sell. There's no point in having hide for this character at all because I'm wearing, or I will be wearing plate armor, and you get such a huge penalty to hide for wearing that armor that it's just completely stupid. I think Neverwinter Nights 2 got horrible reviews. I'm not 100% sure. Gilded Urn. I'm not sure what that's for either. Anything else? Have I got anything in here? No. I didn't really need to go back and sell, but if I'm in town anyway, I might as well. Let's go back. 50 gold transport fee is completely nothing now. I've got to this level. At the beginning it's a bit painful. Where am I? I've got a thing about that. Annoyed the crap when I played in a Pathfinder group for years. I only like spending money on things that are permanent buffs to your character. I hate spending money on consumables. And Pathfinder is designed in such a way that you're meant to get enough money to buy, to use consumables regularly. But I think it's from something to do with computer games. I've got a whole thing about I don't know, a hang up about not being efficient and not wasting money. So yeah,
It's done.
certainly in Pathfinder you're meant to waste a certain amount of money on potions and scrolls and things so that you can get a temporary boost. But Pathfinder's got too many books for it, basically, now. So you can make character combos that are utterly absurd.
It's done.
And if you don't know what you're doing or follow a guide, then your character will be, unless you're very lucky, will be completely trash. So you can end up with a character that's either you can end up with a party with a character who's completely trash and a character who one-shots dragons. which is going to be a miserable time for one or both of them. Okay, let's have a look at this. To the east, the rise and fall of the Netheril. To the east, on the sandy shores of calm and shining narrow sea, human fishing villages grew into small towns and then joined together as the nation of Netheril. Sages believe the fishing towns were unified by a powerful human wizard who had discovered a book of great magic power that had survived from the days of thunder. A book that legend calls the Nether Scrolls. Under the nameless wizard and those who followed, Netheril rose in power and glory, becoming both the first human land in the north and the most powerful. Some say this discovery marked the birth of human wizardry. Since before, I think I've read this already. Since before this time, mankind had only shamans and witch doctors. For over 3,000 years, Netheril dominated the north, but even its legendary wizards were unable to stop their final doom. Doom for Netheril came in the form of a desert, devouring the narrow sea and spreading to fill its banks with dry dust and blowing sand. Legend states that when the great wizards of Netheril realized their land was lost, they abandoned it and their countrymen, fleeing to all corners of the world and taking the secrets of wizardry with them. More likely, this was a slow migration that began 3,000 years ago and reached its conclusion 1,500 years later. Whatever the truth, wizards no longer dwelt in Netheril. To the north, the once majestic dwarven stronghold of Delzun fell upon hard days. Then the orcs struck. Orcs have always been foes of the north, surging out of their holes every few tens of generations when their normal haunts can no longer support their burgeoning numbers. This time they charged out of their caverns in the spine of the world, poured out of the abandoned mines of the Grey Peaks and screamed out the lost dwarf holds of the Ice Mountains, raged forth from the crypt complexes of the Nether Mountains, and stormed upwards from the bowels of the High Moon Mountains. That's a multi-fronted attack. Never before or since has there been such an outpouring of orcs. Delzun crumbled before the onslaught and was driven in on itself. Netheril, without its wizards, was wiped from the face of history. The Airland elves alone withstood the onslaught, with the aid of Treants, the Treants of Turlong, and other unnamed allies, were able to stave off the final days of their land for yet a few centuries more. In the east, Heirloom built the fortress of Askelhorn and turned it over to the refugees from Netheril as the Netherese followers built the town of Kars in the High Forest. The fleeing Netherese founded Lork and Loudwater, others wandered into the mountain hills and the moors north and west of the High Forest, becoming the ancestors of the Uthgard and the founders of Silvery Moon, Everlund and Sundabar. Well, that was exciting. I did read that earlier. Neverwinter Nights 2 is more than 10 years old, from 2006. Oh, sorry, I was wrong. I just remember there was lots and lots of excitement about it coming out, and then I think people were quite disappointed with it.
It's done.
Maybe I'm thinking of Neverwinter, the game. Maybe Neverwinter. No, I'm not sure. The MMO. Although I don't think I've heard that much about the MMO. Although this was an MMO at the time. I had a friend who was he was a GM on an online server for this, so he wrote all sorts of stories and adventures for people and then ran them in this. I don't know how that works, but yeah, he did that. I say he was a friend. He was in my WoW. He's one of my brother's friends. He's in my brother's WoW guild. Oh, there's more over there. The good side of Pathfinder is it's pretty easy to GM because the fights are all utterly calculated difficulty levels. Although whether they're reasonable or not is a different question. And also, there's so much content for it. There's they have a thing where they release a monthly adventure called Adventure Paths, and it goes through 6 books, and they release one every month. But they've been doing it for years and years and years. So there's like a pirate one, an undead one, and good reviews, but I don't know how it is. Never played it, but it looks worth playing. GameSpot. Oh, nice. Okay. 8.6 out of 10. I guess it is good. I would get this in a sale. The enhanced edition of Neverwinter Nights. I think it's like still 15 or 20 quid. And I got it for 5 or 10. Well, I don't know. Well, pounds and dollars are almost the same now. I was going to say if you're American, then that doesn't really help. But yeah, I would definitely wait for it to be on sale. I wouldn't pay the full. It's not worth like. I don't think it's worth 20. I don't think it's worth 20 pounds or I don't know $15 that would be.
Okay, dokie.
Maybe I should give Neverwinter Nights 2 a go
It's done.
at some point then. I don't know if you need if it's a straight sequel to this or if it's like Eye of the Beholder 2. You could transport your save from Eye of the Beholder 1 into Eye of the Beholder 2 and keep the same party. Don't know why I'm talking about Eye of the Beholder. I don't think like almost nobody on Twitch will have heard of Eye of the Beholder, I imagine. But it has Xanathar the Beholder in it, which one of the new D&D books is called Xanathar's Guide to Everything. The final villain of Eye of the Beholder was Xanathar the Beholder. Which is, I guess he's a known character in Forgotten Realms. I think all the computer games were Forgotten Realms as well. They never did like a Dragonlance one or a Al-Qadim. Because originally Forgotten Realms was just one of many different D&D settings. But it was the most popular one, I think. And it's the most sort of generic fantasy. Like you had Ravenloft, which was gothic horror. Al-Qadim, which is like Arabian Nights type desert stories. I don't know that much about it, but I think that's what it was. And then Dragonlance, which was totally crazy high fantasy, people riding on dragons and lancing with each other. I can't think of any other. Oh, there was Spelljammer as well, where you had like magic spaceships. And there's an amazing race from that called the Gith, I think, that were like space. They were like British Empire type culture. So it was all what jolly who, let's pop at it. But they were hippopotamus men and were in space and had like all this military pride and stuff like that. They're the most imaginative and original race. Port Last. This village of 700 is found in the high road between Luskan and Neverwinter, and sides with the latter in the feud between the two cities. 50 men. Neverwinter is the city that I'm in, which is all goody two shoes, paladins of Tyr. Luskan is the city of evil, who probably unleashed this plague. 50 men-at-arms from the city of skilled hands, bolstered by 30 of the Lord's Alliance troops, aid the local militia in guarding the town from brigand raids and harassment from Luskan. The Lord's Alliance troops are mainly from El Turo and Baldur's Gate. Ooh, Baldur's Gate. So that a Luskan attack would risk war with the two economically powerful cities. Port Last is a city of skilled stonecutters and has fine harbour. The stonecutters work at quarries in the coastal headlands just south of the village. Other than harbourage and stonecutting, there's little else to recommend it to the traveller today. For it is a tense, suspicious place, always expecting treachery or attack from Luskan. Today Port Last is ruled by the soldier Kendrak, who recently replaced Hieromos Dothwintle as first captain. Hieromos was killed during the battle to protect Port Last from a Sahuagin invasion. God, the names. Sahuagin's okay, because I know that already. But all the rest. In the distant past, when Luskan was held by orcs and Durgar, Port Last was a thriving city. Durgar are deep dwarves, in case you don't know. They're like the dark. They're the dwarf version of dark elves. It was the last port of in human hands, as one sailed north, hence the name. In those days, as one sailed north, right? Okay. In those days, it was home to 14,000 miners and explorers eager to find gold, gems, and all the rest of the fabled mineral wealth of the north. The city was eventually smashed by orc raids, and shattered remnants of its old walls still ring it, though much stone has been used to repair local homes or has been taken away and sold. Port Last's outer reaches are overgrown by scrub forest and are used as gardens or graveyards. Cool. Alright, I might as well take the book. What? Stop it! Stupid horse. It's my way. Can't click. A rapier and some gold. Oh, it's story time apparently. We're in a library. The Adventures of... Oh, I've read this already. Haha! I don't have to read it. Unless you want me to. If people want me to read the Adventures of Grin Richard and something else, then I can. Because I think I read it before you guys came on.
It's done.
Gold and gems. Anything else? Oh, there's a bookshelf. The Leadership of Neverwinter and the Desert River. I'm going to take those and save them for later because I've done enough reading for one lifetime. The War of Light and Darkness. Ooh, we're going to be having a reading session later. This is where the door is trapped and it kills me. Thomas Rumbottom.
I greet you.
By what right do you enter my home? Did a father put you up to this? I demand to know. Oh yeah, I wasn't sent by... I haven't been to the brothel in the central town because I was proper RPing when I first started playing. So I was like, oh, I'm not going into some filthy house of disrepute. So that's where the missions to come here clearly come from. Because yeah, I'll go in and just hand in the quests after this. Rest easy, I'm leaving. Worry? Why should I worry? You're obviously a scoundrel with no true backbone. Guards, dispatch this worm. Well, if you're like... Oh. Well, your guards are all dead. Yeah, oh, Captain Emilovich has left, I guess. Or maybe Midnight's Fox has left. Portrait of Sir Reginald Rumbottom the Third. Moonstone Mask. Okay, and Spear. Oh yes, I think if I remember correctly from last time, he's got a naked portrait of her or something like that, and she wants you to steal his portrait in order for her to ransom it back from him. Something like that. Oh, that's what I get for skipping quests. One room left that I can see. Through here. Through here. Through here. Up here.
Okay, dokie.
Come on, take your time unlocking. Yeah, that's something you wouldn't get in modern games either. It's a 10-second unlocking. Well, it's probably not 10 seconds. I'm probably exaggerating. Unlock time to sit around and wait for things to happen. It's funny. I've been wondering why Skyrim is the only real first-person open-world RPG that's really done well. Because it can't be that hard to make one that's good. You know, has a good, consistent story. And it just seems weird that, I mean, clearly they've, like, you make League of Legends and every game is then there's 10 League of Legends, well, it's Dota was the original, but yeah, League of Legends becomes popular, and then all of a sudden you've got 10 different MOBAs. You've got a first-person MOBA. You've got a Blizzard MOBA. You've got a Lord of the Rings MOBA, and then you get. I mean, it's been since Morrowind, which came out a year and a half or a year before this. He's gone midnight. Yeah, and nobody's copied Skyrim, or nobody's done it well. Not Morrowind. I mean, nobody's copied having a first-person style RPG like that I can think of. That's worth playing anyway. And it's the same, like, I don't know. When Dune came out, there were loads and loads of Command and Conquer type games. Well, Command and Conquer was a sequel to Dune. But I've read that. It's kind of weird that you can't copyright game mechanics as well. Like, I can make as long as I don't copy the actual game, it's fine to. God, why do I have so many books? Portlast, I've read that. It's fine to totally copy the style of game, but you can't. Obviously, you can't copy the story or anything like that, or the actual code. Okay, see you later, Midnight. Oh, thanks for the follow. Oh, I'm finishing soon anyway. Right, tomorrow I shall hand in all the quests and go into Act 2. Please like, comment, subscribe. I stream every day on twitch.tv/Tam Axlia from 7 a.m. till 11 a.m. GMT or BST in summer. Just doing an outro for the YouTube video.